Hi and welcome. This is Crystal with Emerson Aurora Design, and today I'm going to show you how I did this strawberry geode tumbler, one of my Fruit on the Rock series. I'm starting off with a 25-ounce straight tumbler from Stainless Steel Depot, and I'm going to use this red and bright green to make a strawberry shape. Shake your cans up really well. I'm going to start off with this bright red. I believe it's called candy apple red. And I'm just going to do about 2/3 of the tumbler on the bottom. That'll be my little strawberry fruit. And then go in with the green here. This is the only bright green that I had. And I'm just filling in those spots. I wanted a kind of a darker green for this, and I wanted to have the leaves more defined. So I'm going to go in with my Arteza green paint and actually just paint leaves on the top. And I printed out these, or I cut out on my Cricut, these little yellow strawberry seeds. I'm going to lay those down. And for strawberries, I was kind of trying to figure out how to lay strawberry seeds, to be honest. I decided to go in a random pattern and have the points of the seeds all pointing in the same general direction. That way it wouldn't look more like a watermelon seed, and it looks more like strawberry seeds. So I'm just spreading those out on the tumbler in a way that's pleasing for me. You can lay these out really any way that you'd like. I'm actually going to go in and cover about half of this tumbler anyway with my geode, so it doesn't have to be perfect. I'm laying my seeds first, so that way when I go in to paint my leaves, it looks like the leaves are laying on top of the strawberry as it should. And don't forget your bottom. You can use any acrylic green paint for this part. I just have a large amount of these Arteza paints. They just come in handy. I wanted a more defined leaf shape for the strawberry top. Strawberry leaves, when they're on top of a strawberry, just remind me of a little star. So I'm going down in a point pattern, and first I'm going to map out my leaf shape and then fill it in with 2 coats of this acrylic paint. I'm not too worried. It doesn't have to be exact. I'm just trying to keep those strokes going in the same direction so I don't have any blotchy marks from my brush. This paint is really thick, so other paints that you may use, you may need to do 3 coats. This one I ended up having to just do 2 coats to get a good coverage. Once I'm finished with this and my paint dries completely, I am going to go in and put a thin layer of epoxy on my tumbler and let that cure for 24 hours before I go on with my next steps. So while that's drying, I'm going to cut out my little strawberries. I got these the strawberry images from Canva. I use Canva a lot for my projects. I'm using the print and cut. And here's my tumbler the next day. My epoxy's nice and smooth, and it looks great. Now it looks cute just the way it is, but of course I'm going to go in and do my geode. First I'm going to lay down a base of white. I want to map out where I'm going to put my geode. And normally I don't do this, however some of my colors are translucent, so I wanted to have a white backdrop for them so that the glitters cover that paint completely. I didn't want the red and the green shining through too much. Plus I have my stickers and I wanted them to be a centerpiece, the strawberry stickers, to be a centerpiece for my strawberry geode. I really like the idea of doing multiple medias on my tumbler. It just gives it so much depth, and um, I really love it. Now, for this Geode tumbler, I decided not to do a classic oval kind of shape for my geode. I'm actually going to go in with some wavy lines here and just kind of eyeball how wide I want those spots to be. The white doesn't have to be completely perfect. I do believe that I put 2 coats of the white just to cover that paint really well, or the spray paint really well, because my paint was a little bit on the thin side. And here's where you can kind of use the geode glittered pattern to hide any mistakes you may have made in the base colors. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way to do this. That's what I love about geode tumblers. They're so abstract, and I just really have enjoyed this series, and I hope you guys have enjoyed it also. So here I'm trying to decide if I want to do the oval shaped geode there, or just go ahead and keep continuing with the straight or the curvy lines, and that's what I ended up doing. Really love how this one is so fluid, and it just swirls around the tumbler so nicely. So this is after my second coat has dried. I'm going to go in and put my little decals down. I'm just laying them out to where they are close together but not overlapping, and they're going to be the center portion of the geode. I want to get them as close to each other as possible so there's not too much white space, but I'm actually going to cover them up just a tiny bit on each side, so it's okay if there's white space there. Don't forget your bottom. This little white swirl swoopy thing was a little bit narrower than the other, so I'm using the smaller strawberries that I printed out. There we go. So now I'm going to take some Mod Podge. You can use any glue that you'd like. I'm using Mod Podge because it's a little thicker, and I'm going to do my glittered lines. So I chose several different textures and cuts of red glitter. I have a green glitter and I have a silver glitter. Those are the colors that I wanted to go in with for this one. When you're doing geodes, and if you're doing like a color scheme, a specific color scheme, you want to choose different size cuts, even different shimmers. For example, you want to use like a plain metallic, holographic. You want to do, I even have a flat glitter. It's almost like a pearl. It really doesn't have much shimmer, but it just gives a neat texture. I'll show you that here in a minute. I'll list all my glitters that I used in the description box below, but you feel free to use any glitters you have on hand because it will turn out just gorgeous. I've never had a geode tumbler that I didn't love. This one is a ruby colored holographic, and then I guess I didn't record the chunky, but that's like a cherry colored chunky mix. That second line. I'm just following the white stripe that I have here, but I'm actually going to go over onto the painted portion also, and that's fine. My glitter does cover it. This is a metallic green called Cash Money. It's really pretty and shiny. I didn't want too much green because I didn't want it to look like a watermelon tumbler. The strawberry and the watermelon tumbler are similar. With watermelon I went more with pinks, and with strawberry I went more with red. Now you don't want to have any straight lines when you do a geode. I'm kind of going curving in and around those strawberries and even kind of going over them a little bit just to help blend everything together nicely. I'm also not applying these glitters in the same order that I do on either side and on either stripe because, like I said, I want this to be pretty abstract even though I'm using all the same glitters. This Venus is that flat glitter I'm talking about. It almost looks like a tomato red. Normally, this is one I got in a subscription box. It isn't one that I normally would purchase, but it does look really neat on this tumbler. So if you're looking for a flat kind of tomato red color, this one is a neat one. And it's a little bit translucent, so I will need a second coat on this glitter. I'm just very carefully brushing off the excess glitter that sticks. Sometimes whenever you apply the metallic single cut glitters, they love to stick to that dried epoxy. So just brush it off gently, that way you don't have any contamination. I'm not too worried about it contaminating. You're seeing me do this basically in order. I'm not letting each section dry in between. I just go ahead in with my next color and try to do my best to kind of roll the tumbler so that the excess dumps off and doesn't contaminate the other colors. But I'm really not too worried about it. This is that cherry mix, metallic mix. It's really pretty. Missed a spot there. And I am going to go in and actually touch up. Once these are all dry, this is kind of my mapping stage. So it's okay if the coverage isn't perfect with these glitters. I'm going to go in once this is dry and I'm going to Mod Podge directly over the glitters and put a second coat on each of those, or the ones that need it the most, I should say. Usually the chunkies don't need a second coat unless you missed a spot, but definitely my finer cut glitters will need a second coat. This is a really pretty fine cut holographic silver. It's in the Diamond series from Glitter Craze. I really love the Diamond series from Glitter Craze. If you want a blingy fine glitter that just shines like diamonds, I really highly recommend this. So I'm going to go on to the other side. Like I said, I'm not going to do these in the same order as the other side, as the reverse side, the first side. I want them to be a little bit different for just some, I can't even think today, guys. When you're doing geodes, just take your time and enjoy the process. I love art. To me, this is one of the most satisfying type of tumblers to make. What is your favorite tumbler to make? I love geodes and I love peekaboos. Those are probably my favorite styles. I had some questions about where I purchased my little yellow glitter tray that I'm using. It's actually purchased from Harbor Freight, and you know that's a big tools store. that are in many cities. It's for nuts and bolts, I guess, for the garage, but it works so well for catching my glitters so that I don't make a huge mess on my table like I usually do anyway, even with this. They're really inexpensive too. I think it was less than $3. They work well for um, glitter and rhinestones and anything little that may jump off your table. I'm doing a little dance break there. I always like to listen to my music when I'm doing this and get in my zone, so hope you enjoyed that little dance break. Guys, let me know if you're enjoying this Fruit on the Rocks series. I kind of started this as a summer project because the fruit, you know, kind of reminds me of summer. But if you'd like me to continue this Fruit on the Rocks series, give me a comment below. Let me know what other fruits you'd like me to try. I've done the lemonade one. I've done the watermelon, and this is the strawberry. If there's any others that you'd love to see, just let me know and I will make more of these because I am happy to. I just wasn't sure if it was just more of a summer type tumbler. But you know, you can eat fruit any time of the year, so I have some ideas for some other geode kind of combinations, so look for those in the future. I think I'm going to start transitioning over to my Halloween and fall tumbler tutorials though, so watch for those. If you're a returning subscriber to watch my videos, thank you so much for coming back. I hope you're enjoying my videos. If you're new, welcome. I have so many awesome ideas swirling around in my head for the next coming months for my favorite time of year. I love fall, I love Halloween. I'm so ready for a break from this heat. Oh gosh, guys. I'm a northern girl, born and raised, and when I moved here down south a little bit, the summers are just brutal. I'm just ready for fall. What's your favorite season? I don't even mind winter, but we have pretty light winters here where I live. This cherry mix is the prettiest red that I've ever used. I really love it. You should see how many glitters, red glitters I own, you guys. You can tell I've been searching for the perfect cherry, or red. So I have so many different shades of red. I never realized there were that many shades of red of glitter, so guess I have a red for every season. What tumblers are you guys working on now? I'm trying to make some new tumblers for me, for some ideas for tutorials, getting inspiration from TikTok and Instagram, and just trying to put new spin on any tutorial that I may make, but also trying out some classics that people have been doing. Isn't that beautiful? So I let that dry completely, and here it is dried. I'm just pointing out here that I had a little bit of contamination, and that's why it doesn't matter to me much. When I'm doing that first layer, if I have contamination, you can see the silver got contaminated a little bit with that red. So I'm going to go in with a second coat just to make those colors kind of brighten up and give it more texture. Sorry for some of the background noise, guys. I'm in my studio, which is in my basement, so my turners are kind of clicking behind me, and you can hear my air conditioning. It's kind of loud down here, so I apologize for that. This holographic silver that I'm using, I think would be so pretty for a Christmas tumbler. It reminds me of tinsel. So I'm not being exact this time. You can see I'm kind of just stippling my brush, putting the thicker glue down so that I can get a really good coverage on that thin, fine glitter. Those are the ones that you generally have to put 2 coats on. My Geode tumblers tend to have a lot of depth to them because I do thick coats of glitter, and it really does show under the epoxy. If you guys have never tried a Geode tumbler, please try it. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way, so you just go with what's pleasing to your eye. This tomato colored glitter here, the fine kind of matte glitter, was really translucent, so that one definitely needed an extra coat. And you can see that tomato colored glitter, it looks really good when it's over the white, but here on this side I placed it where it was just over the red and green. You can see it doesn't pop as much, and it did allow that green to show through, so it kind of made a muddy color. It does turn out better once I put the second coat on, but just kind of be aware of what glitters you're using and what looks good on different backgrounds. I have so many glitters, guys. I honestly haven't even used them all yet, so like I said, this was kind of a trial and error. It turns out pretty though. Trying really hard not to contaminate my silver, but I'm not going to sweat it too much if it contaminates. Once these are completely dry, I'm going to go in with a kind of, not like a chip brush, that's what I'm trying to say. And I'm going to brush off any excess gently, excess glitter, and see if there's any other spots that may need touching up. And then once that's done, I do go in and I spray it really well with my 2x Rust-Oleum clear gloss enamel. That helps to set these glitters in place, because even though I'm not too worried about contamination while I'm glittering, I really don't want those glitters to migrate onto the actual painted strawberry portion. And I go in with 2 layers of epoxy and let that cure. So this is a couple days later, and the epoxy is cured, and it looks dull because I did sand that down really well. You want to make sure that there's 2 coats of epoxy down before you go in and sand these, so you don't accidentally sand your glitter off. I'm going to use this acrylic paint pen that I purchased from Amazon. I have tried so many paint pens, guys. These ones are pretty good. It came in a pack. I'll link it in the description below. They're really fine tipped and it works really well. I'm not sure if it's my favorite yet though. If any of you have tried an acrylic paint pen and you just can't live without it, and it flows really well and just doesn't give you a headache like paint pens can, will you please leave me a comment, because I am searching and I am so open to trying some new paint pens. Fine tipped. I really like the fine tipped. So can you sense my frustration? But this one actually isn't too bad. I would recommend this pack. It came with a bunch of different colors. I chose just to do white lines. You can do silver, you can do red, you can do white, whatever you like. I just wanted to kind of keep it simple. And since I didn't add too much white, I wanted to kind of incorporate the white to show off the white background of the strawberry stickers that I have there. I hope I'm making sense. Once I'm done doing these lines, I'm going to apply another layer of epoxy. I think I ended up applying maybe 2 more layers just to make sure I get a really smooth coverage, sanding in between the 2. And this tumbler has so much depth. I hope it shows when I show you my final picture. It's really pretty. I'm glad I went with the strawberry theme. Just want to show you, you don't have to use the fabric like I did on my other ones, although that is really nice. You can use scrapbook paper as your base, or just paint it like I did. Strawberries are pretty easy to paint. And you don't have to add lines if you don't like them, but I think that this one almost needed it just to kind of show the depth of the sticker strawberries, that they were definitely underneath the thicker glitter. It added a layer of depth there. And you don't want to use straight lines, just like you don't when you do your glitter. Just kind of go in a wavy, squiggly, there's no right or wrong way to do this. And one thing that I have a problem with is that I have to make sure that those paint lines are dry before I put my hand on them. So you may want to start at the furthest point away from your hand and work your way down. I did it backwards and I was worried I was going to smudge my paint. But luckily I didn't. And don't get too caught up in the thought that everything has to be perfect. You know, turn on your favorite tunes, just sit back and kind of enjoy the process. So here I think I start, yeah, this is the way you should start, at the furthest point, so you don't accidentally smudge your lines. This acrylic paint does take a little bit to dry, so this is probably the way you should do it. I was trying to do these lines in one stroke, but it's kind of hard when the tumbler is when it's swirled like that. So I didn't want any start and stop points with my paint. That's one thing I don't like about acrylic paint markers. They leave like little smudges whenever you have to start and stop. So. And make sure you're carrying your lines down to the bottom so that it looks fluid and all blends together. I'd like to say thank you so much to everyone who's watching this video. If you're new to my channel, go ahead and hit that subscribe button so that you can be updated with my new videos. And if you like my videos, go ahead and check out the ones I've done in the past. People seem to like them. If you're enjoying this, give me a little comment below. Give me a thumbs up. And here's the final product. Look how beautiful that is. I'm sorry my camera would not focus where I wanted it to, so this might be a little bit of a choppy montage here. But look at that glitter underneath that epoxy. And you can really tell that there's different shades of the red. So pretty. I love this tumbler. I think this one's probably one of my favorites that I've made in the fruit series. I was pretty proud of myself for creating a little painted strawberry underneath there. I hope you guys give this a try. It is so much fun. Try it with any other kind of fruit. Happy crafting, you guys, and have a beautiful day.